So the question is, knowing that, what is the picture we have of life, assuming the fossil record and our contemporary science? There are two options. First is the bottom-up option. Life starts simply and then branches out from there. In other words, we start with species, and then from that species we'll get different genuses and families and orders and so on up until phyla, the major animal types. The second picture is a top-down picture where you have major types from the start. In other words, you start with different phylas already in place, and then those phylas diversify within themselves: genuses, families, orders, classes, and ultimately classes, orders, families, genuses, and ultimately species. Now, those are two very different pictures. What do we find in the fossil record? We find, as explained by biochemist Roger Lewin, who was highlighted in the journal Science, several possible patterns exist for the establishment of higher taxa, the two most obvious of which are the bottom-up and the top-down approaches. In the first, evolutionary novelties emerge bit by bit. The Cambrian explosion appears to conform to the second pattern, the top-down effect. Or as explained by paleontologists Douglas Irwin, James Valentine, and Jack Sapkowski, the fossil record suggests that the major pulse of diversification of phyla occurs before that of classes, classes before that of orders, orders before that of families, and so on. The higher taxa do not seem to have diverged through an accumulation of lower taxa. As explained by paleontologist Richard Fortey, the beginning of the Cambria saw the sudden appearance in the fossil record of almost all main types of animals, phyla, that still dominate the biota today. And lastly, as Charles Darwin himself admits, the abrupt manner in which whole groups of species suddenly appear in certain formations has been urged by several paleontologists, for instance by Agassiz, Pictet, and Sedgwick, as a fatal objection to the belief in the transmutation of species. If numerous species belong to the same genera or families have really started into life all at once, the fact would be fatal to the theory of descent with slow modification through natural processes. This is a major problem to the one who holds the belief that life arises by merely naturalistic processes.